Hey everyone, it is Kate from Casey and the Overlanders. In this video, we are showing you our favorite campsite, South Beach in Olympic National Park.
And it took us several days to get to this site, but it was totally worth it. And we'd heard great things, but when we arrived there,
This was the scene.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was
and
terrible.
RVs, loud generators,
Lots of campfires close to vehicles and tents.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of not really our style camping, right? We try and do more dispersed camping on our channel and show that along with some of the cool national park stuff. But this site does have, or this campground, I should say, does have a hidden gem to it, which is the beach. And there's some ways, if you do this site campground right,
Yeah.
you can get the right site, it's good. However, sites in this campground are very competitive.
Crazy competitive, like nothing we have ever seen before.
Yeah, it's true,
And
right?
they're all first come, first serve.
Yeah, they have a board, and the board has basically reservations on it. And so you basically have to reserve and figure out where your site's going to be. People study the board, right, Kate?
Yep, they study them, they take pictures of them, they have people on walkie-talkies and other parts of the park that are trying to figure out how to get to the site, who's moving out, and who's moving in. And
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, like calling out sites because there's no cell phone, so I'm walkie-talkies, like, what do you think of this, or what do you think of that site?
Right, because there's no cell service in the campground.
You can see this one here. They literally have, they reserved it, and then they traded with somebody else for a better site, so that's why it's empty on there. It's just, it was super competitive, which is really, kind of takes away from it.
It
But
does.
again, it was such a beautiful location, which we'll show later.
Yep.
But you know, there's so many different people from so many different styles of camping and that kind of thing. There were some people next to us, and we've got a little shot here from that next afternoon.
Yep.
Yep.
So this is kind of looking down from our campsite into South Beach. So in the middle, there's like a middle section where you can camp, and then on each sides you can camp. One side is the ocean view side, and the other is just kind of in the back.
Fire juggling.
Fire juggling, drum circles can happen, some entertainment for children, free entertainment.
You know,
it's kind of a festival-like atmosphere at times, I feel like, in the
It is.
campground.
It is. But, you know, some of the things we're going to show you are the South Beach Shuffle. Okay, so South Beach, we ran into a really nice guy who was an old hippie in his old Westphalia. He gave us his site that next morning, and I think we got a little bit of video of that. He was so nice. He had a primo spot. And so as he left, and this video is, no exaggeration, this is 5:45 a.m.
And this is the South Beach Shuffle.
Yep, and as you can see, it is a shuffle.
And this happens every morning.
Yep, and as we're pulling into this spot and he's pulling out of the spot, there's people just outside of the camera waiting in case we decide not to take it, and they jump over and put their beach chairs in it and they take it.
All right, so Dan and I are on the beach joining the kids. Behind me, let's see, right there, that is our trailer or truck, that's our campsite. In front of me, over this way, is the ocean. So it's pretty cool. Those are kids playing. We're going to find out what kind of games Sylvie has invented out here.
So the site we got was directly above the beach. Now there are paths down to the beach, but they're blocked by huge 100-foot long or longer pieces of driftwood. But as you can see, for us, this was an amazing site. It was a little more removed from the hustle and bustle of a full campground. But again, the beach, wow. Talk about incredible. Now, everything that you're seeing there that looks like darker sand right up to the edge of those pebble rocks, that all comes in at high tide. So the beach, we really are sitting right on top of the actual beach in the first level spot you can camp. It was just absolutely incredible hearing the waves.
Yeah, it was amazing. And with the waves crashing in and the tide coming in and out, we could not hear anybody else in the campground. So it felt like our very own personal private oasis.
It did. It did. It was an oasis. And our kids just loved it out there. There was just so much for them to play around with and things. You know, our son loved climbing all over the driftwood, you know, kind of playing around on that. That was pretty cool. This one you can see where the high tide is right up to the edge of those rocks, where it's really come in. Yeah, just absolutely amazing. One of the things that we were excited about, and our kids just basically sat out there all day and they just played and played and played.
It was pretty incredible.
Sitting in beach chairs, we had a cocktail and we were watching the whales breach and swim by.
We also, one morning, our daughter was up early and walked down to the beach and found these river otters that come up from the Queets River, and they were so cute playing with her. And
Yeah, they were literally pausing and waiting for her, and then they'd run a little further. There was a spot where they were running around in circles, and the two of them were she was not chasing the otter was almost chasing her.
it was pretty cute. Also along the beach, there's just tons of little sea creatures and some weird jellyfish and weird rocks and all kinds of things. So just wonderful for, I feel like, kids and adults alike to be right on the beach.
There was so much to do without doing much.
Right. Everything's there. Everything's right at your disposal.
And as you can see, I mean, this piece of driftwood, I'm 6'3", and that piece of driftwood is big. No, just so gorgeous.
Sunsets. We had some killer sunsets while we were in
God.
South Beach. The sunset up there is from our campsite that we saw. Here's the path, another example of the path that goes down to the beach. We also indulged in some very good local beer and some fresh crab cakes, which I highly recommend you drink some delicious West Coast IPAs when you're out there.
Oh my God, it was good. So, I mean, we're eating crab cakes, and it was sitting there, and you can see the sun is shining, the afternoon sun. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, that day was beautiful. And I will say the weather does, like every day it was different.
Yep.
There's a day where we had the big fog marine layer come in.
Yep, the complete marine layer here. By the way, that stump that's sitting there has been washed up there by a storm. That stump has got to be 15, maybe 18 feet tall. It's huge. Everything is sort of supersized out here. You can see where there's some big trailers up against the beach. It makes it a little more difficult for the tent camping. But again, you can just walk along here at low tide, and it's just so cool. And that marine layer, I mean, it just felt like we were in another world.
Yeah, super cool.
So, yeah. And the sun would come out in the afternoons and burn that marine layer off.
Yeah.
This is one of our neighbors that we met. And this is a view from our site looking down to the south.
And this is our neighbor who we returned the South Beach Shuffle to.
Yeah, we did right here.
She was staying for a little bit longer, and we pulled out, and she moved in.
She moved into our sites and things like that, and so we kept it going.
Yeah.
All that good karma.
So there's South Beach Campground. A little crazy to get into. Some not so great spots, but if you're lucky enough to get a spot, our spot was like the very best. But there's also a lot of those spots right on the ocean.
Yep, right on the beach there.
Right on the beach there, where you
And-
don't have views of trailers and things in front of you, but
Yep, and if you wait a couple days, those generally open up. But it was absolutely like this every day. We planned on staying there for 1 to 2 nights. We ended up staying a week.
an entire week,
Yeah, and it was just incredible. Yeah, I think absolutely one of my top camping spots
Yeah.
we've ever been to together.
Yeah, it really was.
That was amazing.
Interesting to get to this point, but it was amazing.
Interesting. Yeah, it was a little challenge, but thank you so much for watching our channel.